Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, and today we have a special show for you, following up our coaches' previews with head coach from St. Francis Borgia High School, Rob Struckhoff. Coach, appreciate you taking the time to join us.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Folks, I want to say this, we appreciate our supporters. Everybody's been great. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope you enjoy our shows. If you do, please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We do appreciate it. Helps the algorithm, helps us keep pushing stuff out for great conversations such as we're going to have here with Coach Struckhoff, who just a couple years ago, you just about pulled that one off, Coach, at the state championship.
Yeah, 2 years ago. It was a great run. I mean, we had going into that season, we only had two seniors that year, and we really didn't. We kind of knew we had some talent, but had a really good season altogether. Finished 25-6, and then made a nice run at the end. Festus got us. They were a great team that year. Coach Montgomery always has a great program down there. But we were lucky enough to we got the state championship in 19. We got there again in 23, and won a couple of district titles around since the last couple of years. So had some success. So it's been a fun ride.
Absolutely. And a lot of those kids that were part of that success, they've moved on, and you had some really good ones. And it's kind of cool, a couple names that pop for me that I think is on the other side. Noah Hendrickson, Reagan Candlebinder. Those are a couple kids we saw also make significant runs with the American Legion Post 218. They made a really nice run down at the Mid-South tournament, getting to the Final Four. That's like 2 games from going to the World Series in American Legion Baseball. So you've had a lot of talent, not to mention, Jack Nobe, who's moved on. Xavier, correct?
Yes, Xavier University.
And, just how do you mitigate the loss of those types of players?
Well, it's when you lose those types of players, and we lost 10 seniors from last year's team, and 6 of those guys moved on to college baseball. So that's a tough loss. 7 starters in the field, our top 4 pitchers. So that's we had definitely. I'm not going to say we're young this year, but we're inexperienced. Those guys were there for most of them 2 years, some 3 and 4 years, that they were staples in the lineup. But I've been here long enough. We've had those years before, and these are kind of fun years because you get to see guys develop. You get to see the new guys coming up. We'll probably have some sophomores that have to make some contributions this year. We'll not have to; they will. So it'll be an interesting season. It'll be a fun season to watch the growth, and then and hopefully some surprises at the end.
I think that there's some little prophesying going on there. They will.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
I love it. I want to, talk first, who do you think is, players that you're looking at that might step up in that leadership role for you guys this year?
Well, we've got 5 seniors coming back. We got Drew Eckhoff at shortstop. He's a 4-year starter. Very talented player. Has been a leadoff hitter the last couple of years, so he definitely will have to step up and into that spot where when you have 10 seniors the year before, you can sit back and play and do your thing. But now it's time for him to step up. And then some other guys like Caleb Haas will be out on the mound and compete for a spot at third base. Charlie Gildehouse, who gave us some good games last year, he beat Parkway South and had a great game against St. Dominic. And then Josh Gordian come up from the JV, and then Braxton Frankenberg, who started in left field first last year. So those 5 guys, they'll all have to step up and lead in their own ways, but be leaders nonetheless.
I think it's interesting. You got some returning pitching contributors. Gildehouse.
Gildehouse, yes.
Gildehouse. Okay.
Gildehouse.
He had 14 innings pitched, but a 1.5 ERA in 14. I mean, he did some good work, only 10 Ks. I always look at the opponent batting average against, a 250. So he's keeping guys off base, and he wasn't walking a lot of guys either, Coach.
Yeah, no, he's a lefty. He pitched majority on the JV the last 2 years, and he's that great kid that's just developed. He's come over, he's accepted the PO role, and he goes down and gets his lessons, works very hard at it, and he's developed a lot. So we're expecting good things from him. But he is that guy. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to mix his stuff up. He's a smart kid. And when he got in there last year, he got his opportunities, and he did the most with it. And we wouldn't have been afraid to use him there at the end if we would have had to. We just had a lot of depth last year. We didn't have to use him. He could get his innings in on the JV. But yeah, we're expecting big things from him, and that goes along with Caleb Haas too. Caleb pitched well for us last year in relief roles. Should have got him more innings because he did really well in the times he was in there. He's got a live arm. He's an East Central commit, a righty, big, strong righty. He's probably 6'1", 200 pounds. So he's going to help. So those two guys at the top, hopefully they can be seniors that can do what's expected of them, reach their potential.
I like their whip and their opponent batting average against. Caleb only, the guys were hitting $158 against him. So, if you're he threw 10 innings, $158. You've seen some guys, you've seen plenty of hitters. And so I really like that. 11 Ks. And so I think those two guys, it'll be interesting to see. And just here's a shameless plug here, Coach. So just get ready. We do. And one of the reasons, it's not the only reason I've wanted to get Coach Struckhoff on before, but this year, our opening salvo of the year, you guys are traveling to Blair Oaks on March 26th, that Wednesday. We're going to be there at Blair Oaks High School to live stream that game. So this is really something I'm excited about, and seeing you guys there and getting a chance to see some of these kids and that next evolution of what's going to come for Borgia High School.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Blair Oaks, very tough opponent. Coming off a state championship, Coach D'Amelia does a good job up there. We love going up there and playing them. They got a nice new facility. I think they just put all turf in. So looking forward to seeing that. We haven't seen that yet. They came to our place last year, but they're very talented. They're a strong, formidable team all the time, and I don't like where we had them in the schedule. We play Sullivan the day before, and then we host our tournament that week, and we play 4 games that weekend. So they're sitting right in the middle of that. So I don't know how we're going to make our pitching work, but we'll find something. We'll figure something out.
I saw that. I saw Sullivan and Blair Oaks. I was like, wow, Coach, don't hurt yourself there.
Yeah, that's a tough start.
Oh, mercy. Drew Eckhoff, here's one of those kids, as you said, you're talking about offensively. This young man produced a lot of runs for you as that. Talk a little bit about Brody O'Hanlon. Is that the other senior? And
yes.
You talked
he's a junior. Brody's only a junior. Yeah.
He's only a junior. Okay, my fault. And then you talked about Braxton Frankenberg, who played some for you, started at first base, and you said in the outfield?
Yeah, left field. He was starting left field, yeah.
Didn't get a lot of at-bats, but yet what do you expect out of those two guys?
So Braxton will come back. He played mostly left field last year, but he also was our backup catcher. So he's going to have to come in and try to fill the role that Noah Hendrickson had. And he's not going to have to do it by himself. We have a couple other kids that can work in there too. It's going to be hard to fill Noah's shoes. He did a lot for us the last 3 years. But he's a hard worker. He's a football player. He's a wrestler. So he's a tough kid. So you put him back behind the plate, I expect that toughness to be there too. And with those two sports, he's a leader. He's in the student council here at school. So he's a good kid to have back there. He's smart and even though he hasn't gotten too much baseball with us yet, still wrestling, hoping to go to state there, but hoping big things out of him. And O'Hanlon, he played a little bit last year as a sophomore here and there. He got at bats. He's just speedy. He's a fast kid. He plays soccer too. He's he's legitimately probably the fastest kid we've ever had in the program as far as running. I mean, he can get after it. So probably throw him in the outfield somewhere, just track balls down, runs the base as well. So that's his game. Just got to get him on base and get some confidence there early for him. But no, he definitely has a lot of potential, and a lot of ability, just raw and natural ability.
Now, you said there was some sophomores that are going to have to make an impact. Talk to us about some of those kids that you see coming up that can make an impact for your team coming in 2025.
Well, we had a couple of them last year that were on the JV and played most of the year on JV. We didn't have to move. They probably were talented enough to maybe play a little varsity last year, but we didn't have to do that with them last year. We had enough at the top. But a couple of them, Alex Griffin, he's just a big, strong kid, probably sits 5'11", 220. Just got pop in his bat. His dad runs. His dad's a good Travis Griffin's a baseball guy. He runs some stuff out here for kids, giving lessons, runs programs out here. So he knows baseball, good hitter. He's definitely going to have to start their first base somewhere there. But he'll have to produce. Drew Bueller is another kid. He's a catcher, pitcher, can play a little infield. He's a kid that he'll have to either start a catcher or back up somehow. We had him hitting yesterday. He looked good in the cage, but he's a baseball guy, and he knows the game too. His dad's a baseball guy, played college ball. I think his uncle played college ball too. So he's knowledgeable, and those guys are good to have. Another kid, Jace Keeler, he's just like a Swiss Army knife. He can pitch, he can catch, he can play outfield, infield. He's just a smooth player everywhere he goes. Good arm, good speed, good bat. He hadn't pitched much. He said he hadn't pitched much before last year as a freshman, and by the end of the year, he was one of our better JV pitchers. So he picks things up quick. Also a basketball player in cross country, so we haven't seen him a whole lot with baseball so far, or doing other sports, those multi-sport athletes that we have here. But a great kid. All three of those guys are good kids, good hard work, and so they're definitely going to have to help out.
Very good. I want to talk to you a little bit here because I think this is interesting. I've seen this happening a lot. When we look at schools that are kind of where you're at, and you're at Class 5.
I think we're going to be Class 6 this year with the championship factor. I think we're moving up.
Are you really? Oh, yeah, now that's
So we're about. That's going to be tough.
That's a game changer right there, isn't it?
It is because our 2019 state championship, those 4 points are still sitting for one more year this year, and then we had got 3 from second place 2 years ago, 1 from the district championship last year. So we got the 8 points. So we're going to be Class 6 for 1 year. So it's interesting how that works. You lose your 10 seniors and your whole starting lineup, and then they bump you to Class 6. But so we'll be a school of 440 kids. Going against the schools that have 1,500, 2,000. So it'll be a good. The kids know it. It's no surprise, but they knew it last year when one district what was going to happen. So they take it as a challenge, and it is what it is. You can't change it. So you just go in there and compete and see what happens.
I think that, we've talked a lot about this, and not to get too far down in the weeds and all this stuff with that. I've always thought this, I've made this, and I understand the championship points, and I get these things. I do. I understand. But you're never going to make competitive balance, in my opinion, doing those types of things because, like you said, all those guys are gone. We have to restart. We made a good run. You had talent. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's fair. And I think to bump a Class 5 school into, especially because you have championship points because, private school, you'd be what, Class 3 probably?
We would be a medium Class 4, what we'd be, probably a lower Class 4. So I think last year we would have been the 7th smallest Class 4 school if we were in Class 4, but we played Class 5. So, and it is, we competed in Class 5. People probably didn't expect us to do what we did in Class 5, but we did. And so we'll take it as, whether we agree with it, whether we think it's fair or not, it is what it is for us. And we'll just, our kids will go out and compete and we'll do what we have to do.
And I think that's a little tough when you take that in personally. I mean, to bump to a class 6. I think, I understand bump to class 5. I can do that. And like you said, we competed. We had, fair enough. But to go to that next, I think that's, whew.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I think hanging on those points for 6 years is a little much. It's. I was telling some people have asked me about this, and they go, "When are you going to be back in your normal class 4?" I said, "Well, if we don't win anything again, I have my youngest son is in 7th grade, so when he's a senior in high school, we'll be back in class 4.
Oh my god!
If we don't win anything again, so that's how long it'll be."
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, good luck in class 6, coach.
Yeah.
Oh my mercy. And especially, district wise, if it sets up that way, and then you don't know. Then that gets really iffy, because that's what I'm saying. Then you will be playing nobody in your district in your conference schedule.
Yeah, I know. And we're independent now. Our conference dissolved, so we're independent. We can kind of make our own schedule, but it's so hard. We don't want to change when we know we're only going to be in this for 1 year. The only way we stay is if we win the Class 6 state championship. That's the only way we would stay, to get 4 more points to stay up. So we're realistic. It's probably a 1-year proposition. So we're not going to change our whole schedule. With your contracts and you're playing the same guys. We picked up SLU. We're going to play SLU this year. We picked up some other guys, but we're not going to change a whole lot. We're going to keep doing what we do, and and then move wherever they move us next year.
Absolutely. I did not know. So that was the Archdiocese, right? Athletic Association?
Yeah, the Athletic Association, yeah.
And
no longer with that. We're no longer St. Dominic left, we left, Duchesne left. That conference is gone.
Wow. When did that happen? You got to tell me, because I'm trying to keep up with.
Last year was the last season of the conference. So, and that it really didn't even work out too well last year. We didn't get to play everybody twice, and some people it was a lot of without getting into too much. There was just a lot of people that didn't want to play each other sometimes, and it was some AD problems. So it's probably a good move for us and some of the other schools just to be independent. And we were independent at when I first started coaching, and I went to high school Borgia too. So we were independent when I was in high school. So it works fine. You get to play who you want to play, and it is a little tougher to schedule because you don't have those set conference games. But it's also fun because you get to play a lot of different teams.
Interesting. I just makes me feel better, because I was looking through this. Did I miss something? And it wasn't that long, and so it was just from this year that I feel better.
The conference after last season. So this will be the first season that we have.
Okay. Do you consider getting back into another conference, or do you think it just do what you do?
The school looked into a couple conferences, but you have to be accepted, obviously, by the conferences, and we weren't accepted by anybody. So.
Oh wow! Nobody wanted. Yeah. That's not right. What's up with that?
Yeah, I won't mention anything. I'm not the AD, so I don't want.
Oh, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, moving on, when you talk, you got a very young team here, and you've been coaching for a lot of years. Talk to us a little bit, because this is the first time we've really had been able to have this conversation. I believe that culture is very important in how you develop a program, because especially with the amount of kids you have. In the school itself, you've got to develop the program to even have a shot, at getting to, whether you're class 4 or class 3, getting to that state championship level. What are the things that you do within your program, building culture, that helps you guys continue to succeed year after year?
I think what really helps us is we have I'm fortunate enough to have former players coaching with me and teaching here at the high school. I went to school here and played at Borgia. My assistant varsity coach, Spencer Understall, he's been with us for 18 years. He played for me. He was on my first district championship team. My JV coach, Andrew Eggert, has been coaching for 9 years, and he played college ball. He played for us and was on a district championship team. My pitching coordinator, Alex Piontek, pitched in college. He was on one of our district championship teams, and he teaches here at the high school. Our assistant JV coach, who's actually just an insurance guy in the area, but he played for us. And so we have a lot of continuity when you have guys that played for you, and they weren't the only ones. I've had other ones come in the past that have come back and helped, and that continuity, us knowing what we're doing, we're all doing the same things, and they're in the school. We're all in the school teaching. That really helps. We see the kids on a daily basis, and being a small school, we have the ability to make personal connections with them, get to know them, know their families. I've coached so many of my friends' kids. I mean, it's crazy. Just talking. We talk about the Eckhoff and the Gildahouse kids. I went to high school with their dads. Their dads were in my wedding. I was in their wedding. So that's the kind of community we have out here. So it's funny how it works. And then that's big part of just everybody knows it's good and bad. Everybody knows you, and everybody knows that kind of stuff. But that's part of it. I mean, we're faith based. We're all together doing a lot of stuff. And so we've got the kids are successful in the other sports too. Like I said, we got kids that wrestle, kids that play basketball, kids that play football. Our coaches have been here. I've been here 26 years. Our head football coach, Dale Gildhouse, just left after 30-something years. He was my coach in high school. Dave Nyer, who was my basketball coach in high school, is still here coaching. So that they've had success. I learned from them. We have success, and the kids coming up see the success. They're a confident bunch, and they're taught once you get it going, one class kind of feeds on the next class, and the talent's great. You can have talent, but everybody's got some talent there. You got to be able to have some chemistry and play together. And we do some things. We do a lot. We do get-togethers. I like going. We go to Springfield to their actually Branson, the baseball festival down there. We get a hotel room. We spend the night together. We have little team get-togethers, pizza parties, things like that, where the guys get together, which is big. That stuff is big these days with a lot of teams. So we're not the only ones that do that. But we also have we have meetings on just our commitments. We are. We call it the 4 bases of Borgia baseball. You got the pillars of success. We have the bases of baseball. We have commitment, character, grit, and fun, and we preach that. We have a sign hanging by the bullpen and in the dugout. So we're always preaching that to our kids. So from freshman year on, we have baseball camps in the summertime for the youngsters to come through, so they get to be in the field, and our players work the camps, and so they get to see that. So I think that all feeds into it too.
I think that's amazing because that, culture, it's huge how you develop that throughout. And I think one of the things that's interesting, as you said, you have your 4 pillars or your bases. But the other part of that, which I thought was interesting, is all your coaches. They were coached, they played for you. They understand your philosophy of baseball. They understand your language. They understand how you talk hitting, and so when kids get to you after they've gone from freshman to JV, they're hearing the same phrases. They're hearing the same language, aren't they?
Yeah, it works. It's that same thing. And you brought up the Legion earlier with Getsy coaching Legion and coaching Eckhoff. We played together. Those guys and a lot of guys in the younger levels, our kids play for each other. We use the same stuff. We work very well together. Kent's son Zach played for me, and obviously played for him. And he's a college coach now. And they don't do things, and we don't do things. Or we don't try to be different. We try to help each other out. We work together, and that allows. I think it's great, that our kids can play that Legion, or they can go to St. Louis and play wherever. I think they work together. It gives our kids more opportunities to play and work together and see some continuity in things.
Absolutely. And, I think the more you can put kids in a situation of how they succeed, that makes a big difference for them as they move through life, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, definitely. It's all part of it. We're trying to build quality young men. We talk about, my optometrist is one of my old baseball players. We got lawyers in town that are old baseball players. We've got, my oldest son's in the Army. So we got guys in the military. We got other guys in the Marines and in the Navy doing that. And then other guys that are electricians and plumbers and carpenters. So they're all giving back to the community. I'm real proud of all those guys that have come through the program and not just have been like the Jack Nobies and the Bryce Mayers and things like that, and Spiker Helms. Those guys moving on, Trent Limcoolers and Spencer Jerkins. Those guys move on to the big things. But those other guys that move past baseball but are still highly successful in life. That's what we're really trying to do.
There you go. I love that stuff. We got to look at One last thing here that I always look at defensively when we talk about baseball. You know, I didn't make this up. This is kind of the way baseball works. You know, building from the middle out. And you talked about bringing your catcher. You got guys that you know are going to be steady there. I always think that's a huge aspect when you're uncertain about your catching position going into a season. That's not good. It's just not
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
And so, and you got a couple guys coming back on the mound that you know. So I think right there, talk about that middle part of the infield there. Do you have those guys that you know? Is this where your inexperience is going to show maybe a little bit, and that center field position?
Well, we probably it'll show at the catcher's position because Braxton hasn't caught a whole lot. He's played more outfield than anything. Probably actually the sophomores caught more last year in the JV than when they were freshmen. Then so there'll be a little experience there, getting not having to work with the pitchers, and especially if you have a sophomore catcher and you got senior pitchers, that'll be an interesting dynamic when Braxton's not back there. But we've got Drew back at shortstop, so there's the experience in the middle of the field. Over at second base, we'll see. We got Ben Nieder and Lane Mollenkraut, who are two juniors and inexperienced on varsity, but they've played a lot of baseball. Both of them played a ton of baseball. So I think they're both athletic kids. Lane plays football. Nieder's a soccer player they went to state this year. So they're athletic. They can play, and one of them will probably play in third base too. So we got some guys there, even with the varsity experience, to help. Center field, that'll be a question. We'll have to have someone figure that out. Who's the best option out there? We got, like I said, O'Haley can run and go get it, but you also have to have. There's a certain mindset to play center field too. So you got to find that kid that's going to take control, call balls, call people off. And you got to be the captain out there in center field. Everybody says it's the easiest place to play because it's easy reads on the ball. You don't have as much hooks or things like that. But no, you got to take command. So you need a commander out there that's going to take care of things. And we lost Tyler Cromer. Tyler Cromer was a good center fielder for us the last couple of years. He not only had speed, but he would go get it, and he would call things off. So we need another guy to step up like that. Whether it's a sophomore, junior, or senior, we'll find that guy.
I love that because listening to you talk, you talk about culture and the building part of that. That's where I see that. And as you're talking about these kids, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, I know Drew Eckhoff is a kid that's coming back and has been very, so Drew, please, buddy, I know you're going to be right there and we're looking forward to watching you play some ball. But the other part of that, when you're talking about these kids, played a lot of baseball, they've played a lot of other sports, the experience, the culture. It might take them a little bit to adjust. It's like and I agree with you on the one. I think that's interesting. When you have the sophomore catcher with the senior pitchers, that can be the biggest dynamic right there. How do you adjust to that? Can he handle that? And I always think it's a tougher transition when the velocity goes up, when the movement goes, gets a little bigger. Those are big adjustments for a young catcher, aren't they?
Yeah, they're big. I mean, it's a physical position, so you got to, like you said, you got to handle the velocity difference, the movement difference, and it's a heady position too. You got to be able to think. And we've been pretty fortunate. Since I've been here, we really don't call the games. We teach them how to call the games in practice, and our catchers call their own games, and the pitchers call their own games. Now, do we give them ideas and do we talk to them between innings? Certainly. Do we have things during an inning where we say, especially with the new headsets and things, we can talk and say, we want this pitch here. Yeah, we'll do that. But we're not calling every pitch. We're not doing everything for them. So we do a lot of training during practice. So guys, it's like having Noah, but we have to remember Noah started as a sophomore too. So he had to learn all that at one point also. And it can be it's a disadvantage that year, but it's also an advantage as you move the years up. Once they've done it a while, then they're really good at it when they're seniors.
I love that. Hey, you got to learn how to play the game, right, Coach?
Exactly.
Folks, head coach Rob Struckhoff, St. Francis Borgia High School. Coach, we are looking forward to seeing you at Blair Oaks this year. Glad to have you on our schedule. You guys have been a very good program for a long time in this state, and we're glad we get the opportunity to showcase you.
And I thank you for having us on. It's cool for me to be on, and it's definitely cool. It's great for the school to have us be a part of this. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, man, baseball, high school baseball in Missouri is getting better and better every year. Coaches like yourself who give back into these communities, into these kids. We really do appreciate it very much, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks for what you do.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Make sure you get out. All you St. Francis board, I'm sure you do, but get out there, support your team, support your players, have some fun out there. We're going to see you. We're looking forward to a great season. If you like what we're doing, please hit the like button. Helps our algorithm. Hit the subscribe. We appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Everybody, until next time, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, Coach, can you give the pitchers some advice?
Long toss. Get your own strength. You utilize the good days when they come in the wintertime. You don't get too many of them.
There you go. Yeah, like from yesterday to today, right?
Exactly. You take it when you got it.
And all you hitters, simple. Hit them where they ain't. We'll see y'all next time.